Amazing, my beautiful people. We are back, and today we have a show. It's totally uncensored. Uncensored. We are talking anything and everything that is happening, both locally and internationally. So, locally in Kenya, we've had issues with the political scenes and the religious scene. In the political scene, there have been an impeachment of DP Gachagua. I'm a Deputy President Gachagua. And these things have not just gone that way because most Kenyans are divided on this and people are talking different things on the same. There are Kenyans who are pro Gachagua. Okay, am I pronouncing this well? Gachagua. Yeah, Gachagua. So there are Kenyans who are pro Gachagua and there are Kenyans who are pro, impeachment. Yeah, Gachagua. So people are completely divided. Gachagua was calling of people not touching Murima thing, you guys remember that. He was calling the people should not touch Murima at any point. But Murima was touched. So what will Gachagua do now? Oh, Baba Gachagua, what you gonna do now? Oh, it's just, we don't know. So, on the list of Gachagua's comebacks, what do we really have? Remember, he was impeached. And according to the Constitution of Kenya, this guy cannot vie for any political position. He cannot stand for any political position. So his political career is completely down. That is done. It's dusted. So was Gachagua just a one-time deputy president? Not even a one-time deputy president because he has not finished his the period that he should be running. That's 5 years. It's only barely 2 years now and he's gone completely out. And during this impeachment, remember there are things that, they both, Gachagua and Ruto, President Ruto and Deputy Gachagua promised Kenyans. And those things have not completely been worked on. Or maybe they're in the process. I don't really know. Maybe the 5 years are not over for us to get to understand whether whatever they promised is true or not. But there are those things that they said will happen in the first 100 days. So in the first 100 days, prices of sugar, prices of ugali were too high, completely high. Yeah, completely high. Yeah. And maybe they're coming to below currently. And what we need to talk about that? Okay, let's give Ruto for the remaining 5 years. And after the impeachment of Gachagua, there is another person who's coming in, Kindiki. Okay, will Kindiki be able to take care to be a deputy president in Kenya? I don't really know that much because I'm not a political analyst. I'm just informing you what's happening. So, when all these things came up, the church rose up. The church went quiet at a given level. Most of the pastors are not talking about this. But remember, these are the very people who are receiving those handouts from these two people, Gachagua and the President Ruto, when these guys used to visit their churches. Remember, the wife to Gachagua is a pastor, and most pastors were inviting her to go for those church services because they knew when she goes there, she will get money. So I was expecting those pastors who are inviting Dorcas Gachagua to go to their churches to minister as she goes with those bahasha will also stand with her. But unfortunately, none of them are stood with her. So Dorcas Gachagua is just crying for herself and for her family. So they're just fighting their own battle as a family. But these brothers and sisters in quote unquote brothers and sisters in Christ, no one is crying with them. Does it mean they knew whatever was happening, but they were just after the money that Dorcas Gachagua could give them and nothing else? Now, I can't answer that. I'm waiting to hear you guys answer that question. And after that, some of the leaders came up, and they start, talking about the issues that the government has done, failing to fulfill the promise that they made. And Wairimu, who was one among the intercessors in the State House, she came out so boldly and said, this government has really messed up whatever they said they will do. So she regrets voting this government. And with that, I heard there was some news that, there are now NIC guys who are visiting churches to listen into what the pastors are preaching. They preaching against the president, or they are preaching, is the gospel of Jesus, or the gospel according to them against the president? But again, even the gospel according to Jesus himself, the gospel speaks about us rebuking evil that is happening within our Christian circle, within the world. So there's no way they will preach that gospel without condemning the evils that are happening, because the church has to check the government on what the government is doing, not the government to check the church on what the church is doing. So the government cannot interfere in what the church is doing, but the church can interfere in what the government is doing. Is that right? Yeah, I know most of you will not agree with me, but am I looking for am I looking for your sympathy on the same? I'm not. So if you agree with me or not, still a decision you've made. You know, I cannot. I'm not in a position to try to make you believe or how do I say? How do I say? Yeah, I'm not in a position to try to change your decision, how you make your decision and all that. But if you're looking for the truth, then you have the truth with me. So that is in Kenya. That is still happening. So there'll be more trending issues on the same. Because on Twitter, people have gone gag on Twitter. Things are happening. People are talking whatever they can talk. As again, we have two divides. We have those guys who are pro Gachagua and those who are pro the impeachment of Gachagua. But remember, there are those Gen Zs again. You remember the Gen Z movement? For the first time in Kenya, the young people took it to the parliament of this nation. Hey, it has never happened before. There have been mandamano all through led by Raila Amolo Odinga, but none of them has ever dared to get to themselves to the parliament. But this time round, it happened. That is in 2024. Hey, what will happen in 2025? No one knows. Okay, getting ourselves to the international news. We talk about wars each and every time. But now, before we go to the wars that have been happening and are happening, and those that will happen next, let's talk about the presidency in the United States of America. You know who are the two people? Oh, first it began by this guy. Call him Donald Trump, and Biden, the slow guy. Funny enough, Biden could not keep up with the pace of Donald Trump. He could not keep up with the pace completely. It was impossible for that guy to keep up with the pace. Because even sometimes when this guy is giving a speech, he forgets the people that are around him. He starts calling him. By the way, Americans, what did you see in Biden and voted him? What made you vote for Biden, Americans? It doesn't really make any sense. But remember, there are two different people. The Senator Biden and the President Biden. The Senator Biden was a fiery guy who could want things to go the way they want, the way they should go. And that guy was like, we must make, if there's no way we'll make a way over here, we will go through it and we must make these things work. The laws must work. But now the President Biden, with all the power to change all that he was fighting to change when he was a senator, he's so dull that he cannot achieve and do all those things. What is not happening? Is it because he's weak? Okay, there were rumors on internet that guy is led by an AI. Why? How now? An AI to the American president? That was a lie. Okay, I don't know. Maybe you guys know the truth. I cannot tell more about that. You guys will tell me something about. Okay, so the guys in America, leave your comments. What do you think about Biden? But that guy was a scam. that guy was a scam. And during his tenure, or this period, or his era, this is the moment when the American borders were so porous, like they were open for illegal migrants. Hey, people are flocking in America, even now. Each and every day, crowds and multitudes of people flocking in America. And the people are saying, the guys who are going in America, most of the guys who are coming in America, they're guys of a military age, and most of them are men. And the people are asking, what is really happening? Does the government know something? The US government knows something that the rest of the people don't really know. Okay, those were all allegations. Maybe most of the things you know, most of the truth, you might never know them immediately, but you can take all that time for you to know them later. So maybe we pause on that. Future will tell us, time will tell us on what was really happening. And finish with that. Now you know what was happening next. Elections. US 2024 presidential elections, and it's going gaga now. After Biden pulled off, they got another woman in that, and that is who? Kamala Harris. Woo! Let me ask you a question, guys. Americans, how did the Democrats choose to nominate Kamala Harris? As much as she was the vice president, in America they don't use deputy president. Deputy president is in Kenya. So, as much as she was the vice president, do you want to tell me that the Democratic Party had no any other guy who could take over that? I think Kamala Harris would have been a very good deputy president, but not a president of the United States. So, no, imagine Kamala Harris, sitting before this guy from Russia, Vladimir Putin. And Vladimir Putin will looking Kamala Harris in the eyes, and now what the America is gonna do now? I'll put a bomb in you. I'll press the red button and the nuclear bomb will come and bomb America. Then he gets to the other guy on the north. You know that fat round boy. Trump usually call him a nuclear physicist or whatever. That guy is always making nuclears at the expense of the people in North Korea. So the North Korean people don't have food and all that. There are no medical facilities. There's nothing. But that guy is always making nuclear bombs. What is he? Nuclear war is for what purpose? Leave alone that guy. So this is the crazy guy down here, and this is the guy from China. Xi Jinping. Will Kamala Harris really face these people and try to make America remain the bully guy that has been bullying the whole world all along since then? Since the World War after the World War II. Will she really do that? Okay, again on that there's a divide, because there are Christians who feel that Kamala Harris is not a Christian and they don't want to be labeled with someone who's not a Christian. Of course, recently she said, she called out some Christians who had attended her rally and told them, this is not your rally! This is not your rally! You have got your own rally here! It's like, okay. So, they are divided. So there are Americans who are Christians who are really pro-Trump, because Trump is always saying, we will end abortion in this country. You see what Kamala Harris is doing on the other end. She cannot even stand. Okay, all those things. So there's that divide. Does it mean all Christians will vote for Donald Trump and the liberals will vote for Kamala Harris? But even if you're a Christian or a liberal, you still need good laws that will govern a country, because we depend on each other on that. So there's no way you'll make a wrong decision because you lean on the other side. But there is this other news update that came over and said that 70% of the Americans who are Christians are not going to vote. So if they are not going to vote, who will vote for Trump? And if they don't vote, then things get worse. Who will they blame? So Americans, it's that moment, historical moment in the history of America. One, if Kamala Harris becomes the president of America, she'll be the first ever woman president in United States of America. So that is history on our own. And let me add, she'll be the first ever African woman president of African descent in the United States of America. Listen to that. So that is history, man. Then she also becomes the first ever woman president in the United States of America. But will she really be able to rule that? Okay, there are those who are going pro-Trump. Trump recently said, there are this China influencing the American economy. They are building a very big vehicle assembly somewhere, and he knows if that happens, most Chinese vehicles will get to the American land, and America will lose its economy. Some of those plants that are there assembling vehicles will lose market and all that, because China will always come with something everything that is cheaper, but it's not quality. It's cheaper, but it's not quality. So that is it. Now, remember I promised you we'll also talk about the wars that are happening. October 7th, this year, 2024. The Hamas guy with their toys. Hey, those guys. They decided to go to Israel. Oh, it's not a laughing matter. I should be serious. This guy decided to go to Israel. And they started massacring people in Israel. And they carried some of those people. And they went with them to Palestine, to Gaza. And they've been torturing them. But do you know who Israel is really? Netanyahu vowed that those people you've taken and the people that have died, you guys will pay for it. You will pay for it. And it has been hell after hell after hell after hell. Where? In Palestine. So, there have been collaterals. The innocent, the Hamas guys, most people have died. Most people have been misplaced. Up to now, people are dying and people are misplaced. No one knows. Most of the Hamas commanders have been destroyed. The recent one being Sinwar, who was the head of Hamas. He has been assassinated. And after that, the war came to Iran. So, Iran was running proxy militia groups, terrorist groups that were terrorizing not just Israel, but the whole world. Now, so after Hamas, Hezbollah said, we have a lot in our stock. We have developed very good missiles that precise. Okay, when I talk about a precise missile, it's a missile that will hit the target no matter what. There are those other missiles that are older missiles, the Soviet missiles. They are not so precise and all that. So, but they had developed some good missiles, and they thought, hey, Israel, we've been making something great, and we are coming for you. We're coming for you. And they started throwing those things. But Israel being the bigger guy, and with the support of the United States, and that, of course, they have advanced technology that is much better than the one that the Iranians have. Now, let me not say Iranians. That is much better than the one that Hezbollah has, because there's a difference between Iranians and Hezbollah. Hezbollah is the terrorist group, and Iranians are the just normal Iranian people, but Hezbollah is working within Lebanon. So, Israel starts retaliates or returns a favor to the Hezbollah. Do you know they have destroyed and eliminated all the Hezbollah commanders? So every commander who replaces the commander who has been assassinated is also assassinated. Not every commander who replaces the Hezbollah commander that has been assassinated is also assassinated. So that is what is happening, and it's continuing. And Netanyahu has vowed to destroy Hezbollah and Hamas completely. But can he do it alone? He cannot do it alone, because they need more weapons, they need more technology, they need more allies. And some of the allies of Israel is France. And Macron says, no, we are putting a weapon embargo on Israel. We're not sending more weapons in Israel. No. There is a massacre that is happening on the other end. Then this guy comes in, Mossad Hassan Youssef, who is the son to one of the Hamas founders. Now he's explaining and telling these people the real story of what's happening on the other end. Like, all these are some of these videos are going online. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm hungry. Okay, you guys can feed me by just subscribing. You subscribe, you share and view. I'll get some money and I'll eat. I'll be fat. Hey. Okay, so he's explaining and telling the people the real what's really happening. But again, there are people who are not for it. Okay, then people say, now we had a BRICS summit in Russia. The BRICS summit in Russia, the BRICS are the people who are coming against NATO. Okay, an alternative to NATO. So NATO rules, and then the BRICS comes in to also do their own. And they were unveiling their currency. And that currency is to compete with the US dollar. And that currency means if it competes with the US dollar, it has to topple the US dollar and become the dominant currency within. But how are they going to make it? Okay, North Korea sends, Russia currently is in war with Ukraine. And that war is over 1 year now. Now, North Korea sends its soldiers to Russia to go fight in Ukraine. Okay, two things over here. One, maybe the North Korea wants to have a war experience because they have never been in war, but they are threatening to destroy people. So how will they really fight when they have never been in war? So maybe they have sent these guys in Russia for them to learn. But there's someone said something else. North Korea is looking for a technology and technology to make tactical nuclear weapons. Tactical nuclear weapons are these small nuclear weapons, not the larger warhead nuclears that every person is using. The person is using to threaten the other person or to cover themselves from the wrath of the other person. So, and because this round fat boy, the president, is he the president? The dictator of North Korea doesn't have money to pay for that technology, so he's exchanging technology with this is crazy. He's exchanging that technology with the human life. So this guy, you guys, you should go to Ukraine, die, want the technology. I don't really care if you guys die or come back again, but as long as I have the technology. So that guy doesn't really give a damn. He doesn't really care about anyone. If he can destroy his own family, do you think he cares about the neighbor? He doesn't really care about the neighbor. So the BRICS are coming together, and them coming together, they want to form an alternative, alternative power to rival NATO. Will they really manage it? And that's why many people are talking about, the Third World War, that it's so imminent. And that is what from what North Korea has been able to do on the border of North Korea and South Korea, blowing up the railway lines and roads that are linking North Korea and South Korea, and Pyongyang prepping his military men, telling them to be ready for an outcoming war that can start any moment. And remember, Russia has been China also has always been having problems with Taiwan on the other end. They are saying Taiwan belongs to China, but Taiwan is an independent state supported by America, and Americans have, or the government of America has a permanent protective contract with Taiwan, that if anything happens, they will go there to defend them. So all these things are happening, and they are happening so fast. We've seen the war in the Middle East. Now from the Middle East, the war is shifting to Europe. That the war in Europe, that is between Russia and Ukraine. And if the North Korean soldiers are going to Russia to fight to fight Ukraine, do you think the NATO military will also join in to help Ukraine win the war against Russia? That is what people are really thinking. So if that war is from Middle East now in Europe, and now it's going to Southern, is that what we call the World War? Third World War? It's going to happen. But one thing I want to assure you is that no people are scared of the nuclear war. People are saying if the Third World War begins, then there will be a nuclear war. No, there will be no nuclear war. Even that guy who has the red button with him, Ping Yong himself, as much as he says he will just push and things will happen, he's afraid of dying. Yeah, he's afraid of dying. So he cannot do that, because if he does that, America will also do the same. So who will survive in this world? No one will survive. So don't ever with the tactical nuclear weapons, that one can happen, but a major nuclear war will never ever forget about it. That is just something that, you know, someone creates and put for himself to protect himself, so that when the neighbor says I will do this, oh, do you remember I have something that can destroy the whole world here, so please don't dare me, because if you do, the whole world will die. Now if the whole world is dying, do you think you remain? Okay, people say but they have nuclear whatever bunkers that they will get themselves in and hide themselves, but do those bunkers have enough food to take them for 100 years? They don't. Do those bunkers have fertile land to plant crops? They don't. So they still need this other world for them to be able to do that. I know there are all these technologies that are happening and everything is happening, but again, I don't think if there's any mad person who will dare do a major nuclear war. With the tactical nuclear, that is okay, but a major nuclear war will never happen. Okay. This is your boy Alan Hoy. Make sure you subscribe and leave your comments and share and share and share. Until next time we meet, adios. So do this. Please don't leave without commenting, and don't leave without subscribing. Hey, yeah, your host, Bye bye. Thank you guys.